94% of the guys we get in the men's group community, and we've had tens of thousands of guys pass through the community, millions of guys to the website, and 94% of them have never done anything like a men's group before. So if you're feeling confused or intimidated or uncertain of whether you think a men's group is a good tool for you, you're not alone. I felt the same way when I was getting started. 20 years ago, I was going through some relationship issues and some family stuff, and honestly had some internal work to do as well, and around my emotions and understanding what I wanted, my purpose, and all those things that a lot of guys wrestle with. Had some addictions I was dealing with, and I felt like I wanted a place to go and talk about it, and I couldn't afford to go to a therapist all the time, to deal with that. And so I heard about men's groups. I grew up playing hockey, so I was familiar with this idea of talking with guys somewhat, but the idea of showing up to a group of strangers and sharing the sensitive stuff that I was going through was super intimidating. Felt like I was gonna stand up on stage and pull my pants down or something, Felt really unnatural, kind of like public speaking, to do so. I was worried I wouldn't like the guys. There's a stigma that men's groups are for losers. And, didn't want to waste my time because I was working a lot and busy with other things. And I also didn't know if I had anything to offer. I didn't want to be a burden and weigh on other people. I thought my stuff was heavy and that I'd be too much for whoever was in attendance or the group at large. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't want to sit there and listen to some coach talking about himself or some guy rattling off or who's really negative or really just in a really down and out place. And even though that's where I was scared on both sides, scared of having guys that were doing well look at me as though I was really struggling, and then also scared around being around people who were really struggling even worse than I was. I was overthinking it. I was in my head. And really, it was just a reflection of the fact that I haven't done anything like this before, And so if you're feeling anything like that, skepticism, confusion, any of those things, then you're not alone. You're in good company. And what I did is I actually decided to go anyway. I just thought, what's the harm? I could go to a group. I actually went to one in the next town just so I wouldn't see anybody from my town in that group because I wanted my stuff to remain confidential. I didn't want to bump into a guy in the local supermarket, but and then have to act like we didn't meet each other in a men's group, if we were with our partners or whatever. And so, I went to my first group, wasn't that impressed. Went to my second group. There was one guy who I liked there. He told me to keep checking out different groups until I found one that worked for me. It's kind of like going to a hairstylist, barber, or a gym trainer or something. You got to find somebody that resonates with you. And it's the same thing for men's groups. This guy said, you got to try a bunch out, find one that's right fit for you, right leader, right group of guys, right approach. And to be honest, I waded through a lot of nonsense in the beginning. Groups that were led by coaches, where the coach was doing all the talking. And I attended other men's groups where it was just guys that were just in a negative loop or bitter towards women or these kinds of things. But in those groups, I always found one or two individuals I could relate to, who I'd keep in touch with on the side, which became a very useful support pillar for the challenges that I was going through. And then eventually I found groups that were more in line with the kinds of guys that I want to be surrounding myself with, which were guys that wanted to grow through their experiences, even if they were negative, guys that were on a personal growth journey, guys that wanted to talk about the different difficult things in their lives, but not identify with them. And ultimately just to receive guidance from other guys who had been through similar things to me, because it was always new territory, whether it be being cheated on a relationship or addiction stuff or family issues or me trying to learn how to communicate better with my partner, health issues. Like, I don't know why I expected myself to have all the answers for that, but of course I didn't. And so what I really wanted is to get around other guys who could empathize, because even though I had friends and family around me and coworkers, I had nobody who was going through that unique thing that I was facing, And so, it felt so nice when I found a group with guys that I wanted to be in a group with, where I felt at ease and I could share my stuff very candidly and directly, and they could say, "Oh yeah, I've been there. It's gonna be okay. Like, here's what I did. Here's what worked for me. Here's what didn't work for me." And that is such a useful thing to have. What a lot of guys don't realize, and what you might not realize, is what I didn't realize back in the day, was that isolation that comes from having nobody to talk to about the things that are on my mind, it actually makes those things more challenging to work through, because I'm in a bit of an echo chamber. I'm overthinking things. I'm feeling a lot, and I have no perspective on what's rational or what's reasonable or what the right next steps might be. And there's so many situations in life where you just don't have the answers. And so the most efficient route to get the answers and to make progress in your life is to ask somebody who is either in the same situation and has been trying other stuff, or who has made it through that exact thing. And so that's what we do here at MensGroup. We run a bunch of meetings over Zoom, and the meetings are all topic specific, so guys are able to connect with each other. But really, my mission in life is to just encourage guys to find safe places to talk about whatever's on their minds. Because from my own life, from people around me, growing up and present, it's like a lot of guys don't get to talk about it and whatever they're going through, and that can make things a lot worse for themselves and their loved ones, And then, I also just want to encourage guys to consider MensGroup as a tool, whether it be one of our online men's groups or another organization, or a local men's group in your town that is in the church basement or community center in some guy's garage. That I found those beneficial as well. And if you have any questions about men's groups, I'd love to hear from you. Shoot us a note. Let us know what questions, concerns, hesitations, objections you have about men's groups. And I'm going to be recording a lot more videos like this to walk you through everything I've learned in the last 20 or so years being part of all different kinds of men's groups. All right, thanks for watching, and I hope you found this helpful.